Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and do some more turkey patterning, and today we've got another really interesting combo to try out that I think could give us some really nice performance. These shells have already shown us that they're some pretty good performers, but I'm curious to see what they're actually going to do through today's choke, especially with the constriction that it is, because it may work out and give us a very nice pattern, or it could just not quite be enough for what these shells really like. But for the shells we're running today, I brought out some more of the Winchester Longbeard TSS shells, but these ones are the 28 gauge 2 3/4 inch 1 1/4 ounce payload of TSS 9 shot, moving about 1,050 feet per second. We have done some testing with these, but not nearly as much as I would like to do. They showed us some very nice looking results last spring, and this is the load I hunted with last spring, but unfortunately getting late in the season just didn't have a chance to actually get on a bird with them. But these Longbeard TSS shells, even though they're not really the cheapest and the price has gone up pretty drastically this year, they are some good shells based on what we've seen from them in our testing anyway. So I have some good hopes for them to give us another good performance today as well, but we'll see what we can get. As for the setup we're running them in, I brought out my Tristar Viper 28 gauge. It's got a 28 inch barrel on it, and we're going to be running this Carlson's Turkey 520. Doesn't even have any special name to it. It's just the Carlson's turkey choke. It's a 520 constriction, no porting, no steps, no bands, no straight rifling, no nothing like that. Straight up smooth 520 constriction. It's shown us some nice results, but it's not overly tight in constriction either. So usually it gives us a pretty even spread instead of those super tight, super hot cores. And we'll see what it does with these Longbeard TSS loads. But for today's test, we're running everything the same as usual. I've got the turkey target at 40 yards and the chrono so we can get our velocity. So let's get you guys a view of that target. We'll take our shot and we'll see what we can get from these Longbeard TSS loads through that Carlson's 520. Is it going to be a very nice even spread, or is it just not going to be quite enough constriction? I don't know yet, but let's see what we can get. All right, that shell gave us 1,084 through the chrono. Boss claim is 1,050, so 34 feet per second above their claim. That's still well within the reasonable ballpark here of what we should be seeing. So looking good for velocity. Let's head down and look at our pattern and see what kind of results we got. All right, so here we are down at our 40-yard paper, and we see some pretty interesting results for sure. Now, yes, first off, we absolutely do have a dead bird. There's probably about 8 of them through the brain there, and a number more down through the spine, and you can clearly see there's nowhere that bird could move to and get away from you through that pattern. So absolutely a 40-yard capable combination, no doubt about it. That would hammer a bird at 40, and you could probably push that to 45 and potentially 50 as well if you needed to. I would probably test that before I tried it, but it is absolutely 40-yard capable for sure. Now, looking at the pattern as a whole, it's pretty good. It's a very nice hunting pattern. It's not the tightest we've seen. It doesn't have the hottest core. We have definitely seen a much nastier, much tighter pattern from these shells. Back when we tested them last year, I believe that was through a Pattern Master 515. So we know they can get tighter for sure, but for somebody that might prefer to have a little more leeway in their pattern, this combination is going to be pretty hard to argue with. Now, moving in and looking at our core area, I think it might be just a hair off to the right from that bird's neck, but it's a pretty even spread of pellets throughout there. You've got a ton of them to work with, so pretty decently even core area. Outside of that though, you can see just kind of behind that bird's neck, closer to the edge of the target, gets a little bit thin there, a little bit of voids coming into play there. You might have a couple little bit of hotter zones around there as well, so it may not be perfectly even outside of that core area, but I wouldn't call it splotchy either. Outside of that, we do have a couple little flyers and maybe little stringy stuff around the very edges, like down there at the bottom. And I do think this left edge is a little bit more stringy than the rest of the pattern is, but nothing is detrimental to that performance at all. It's not 100% perfect necessarily. We do have those couple little voids starting to poke up, but that is still a very capable, very huntable 40-yard turkey performance right there. I definitely definitely wouldn't hesitate to run it, that's for sure. But I do think these shells, judging by what we've seen in our previous testing with them, probably prefer a little bit tighter than 520 to really get that pattern condensed and have less of these little tiny voids popping up. I've got several different chokes for that 28 that we can try, both 515 and 520, but so far seems like these are probably going to like the 515 a little better, especially if you're somebody that likes those really nice super hot cores and condensed patterns. I think with that choke we were seeing just about everything on the turkey paper itself. So this is about what I thought we would see, is a little bit more open, a little bit more broad. It's a little less constriction, so that does make sense. I was hoping to keep it nice and even through our core area, and I think we did a pretty decent job at that. Either way, very capable combo, not much to argue with or complain about, and there's never going to be a bird that can make it through that kind of spread for sure. If you center that pattern up on their head and neck area out to 40 or 45 yards, you're going to have turkey for dinner, that's for sure. So another pretty solid performance from these Longbeard TSS shells. They definitely seem to be a pretty decent off the big box store shelf type of offering when it comes to a TSS load. I wouldn't hesitate to run it for sure. And here's the wad out of that shell. Nothing really too fancy or special to see. They are a little bit more of a brown, chocolatey, coffee color than some other wads. Don't usually see that kind of a brown tinge to them, but there's nothing overly special about it. No major damage, nothing stuck down in there, and looks perfectly fine overall. Went through a 520, so not overly tight for constriction, so it looks about like I expected it to. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance right there? It's definitely pretty solid overall. There's not a whole lot to complain about there. It might not be 100% perfect. We might have thrown a couple little strings around the edges, and we might have a little bit of a thin edge and maybe a void or two here and there, but nothing is detrimental to that pattern's performance. And for somebody that wants to or likes to run a 28 gauge, but prefers a little bit more of a broader and even spread, not really a whole lot to complain about with that combo right there. That's 40 or 45 yard capable any day of the week. It might give you a little bit more breathing room at closer ranges as well. So it's just a very solid, very huntable pattern. Not really too much to argue with or complain about there. I definitely wouldn't hesitate to run it, that's for sure. We know we can get tighter and much hotter cores from these shells, but ultimately, that's probably about what I expected to see based on previous testing with that particular Carlson's 520. Usually that choke does open the pattern up a little bit, but it tries to keep a pretty even spread, and that's probably about what we got here overall. So leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Winchester Longbeard TSS loads in 28 gauge? And if so, what kind of results have you seen from them? Is that a pattern or a combo you would hunt with? Or would you prefer to see it a little bit tighter? Or is that about what you're looking for? Is that more broad, more even spread? And maybe what other shells or choke combos do you want to see us run with either those Longbeard TSS loads or that Carlson's 520? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it. But I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.